Brian Little.
Japan.
Audio will tell you all you need to know.
Zach Wilson's got to go. He's done in New York. When you're talking to you're listening to a native New Yorker. When New Yorkers lose faith in you, the way they lost faith in him, they booed him off the field. You know why they did that, Molly?
Why?
Ryan Clark,
Tell me.
playmaker. Because they look at this Jets team as a playoff team.
Yep.
And the only thing that ruined it for them in their eyes is Zach Wilson. And you know something? They're right. Because if Zach Wilson was a better quarterback, even as a second-year player, I mean, Justin Fields is a stud, and we know what we see how he's elevating, okay? But if Zach Wilson appeared to be half the player that Justin Fields was this year or is this year, Jets are en route to the playoffs.
Yep.
There's nothing to talk about. Zach Wilson is the reason this team ain't making the playoffs.
The conversations about Zach Wilson as a historic level bust. CBS just put this thing out through 22 career starts, his stats compared to Jamarcus Russell. And these are a couple cherry-picked stats, I'm not going to lie to you, so I'm going to show you a little bit more and kind of show you just a perspective, not just as a bust, just on how low level of a quarterback he has been throughout his career. Over the last 10 seasons, there have been 75 quarterbacks that have started at least 20 games, including Zach Wilson. He ranks number 74 in completion percentage. By the way, this is not including his stats from tonight. His touchdown percentage, dead last by a wide margin. Interception percentage, that'll put him in a tie for 54th. Passer rating, 74. Sack percentage, 73. Yards per attempt, that's 70. Adjusted yards per attempt, 70. Adjusted net, dead last. Again.
Man, I don't know. I just felt like didn't have any rhythm out there. Just trying to find some confidence out there on the field and just find something to get us going, a little spark, and couldn't get anything there, man. And I had opportunities and I got to be able to connect on those. And right now the feeling is I just gotta put my head down and just try and get better, for these guys. And, that's kind of my message to them out there is, I'm trying to give them everything I got. I'm trying to lay it out there for you guys, and it's not good enough, and I got to put them in a better position.
What was giving you so much trouble?
He's horrible. It's just that simple. You know what he is? He's a boy playing a man's game. Because he mentally showed that yesterday. No accountability whatsoever. No accountability. You're playing professional football. I want to put this in perspective. You're playing professional football. Life, your well-being is on the line. These are grown men you're playing with.
With family.
And against. With families. Mortgages. Okay? You got that stuff. You go out there as a professional quarterback and y'all accumulate minus 21 passing yards in the second half. Minus 21. Well, I could do that. Minus 21? Minus. That's going backwards, y'all. That's going backwards. Do you understand that as a quarterback, you could literally have the ball snapped to you and go down and you could have more yards than Zach Wilson and them did with that offense in the second half yesterday afternoon? A grand total of 2 yards in the second half. Minus 21 passing yards. And when they ask you a question, you sit up there and say, no. You didn't let the defense down, which means that the only reason you answered that question is because you couldn't look yourself in the face and accept accountability. Men do that. Boys run from accountability. I'm going to say that again. Men accept accountability. Boys run from them. That's what Zach Wilson, that's why I said that. And I'm not talking about him as a man, literally. I'm talking about as a professional football player that didn't accept accountability for what position he put his team in yesterday.
Zach Wilson was the guy. Never did. For years and years, I always talked about the hat on backwards that drove me nuts. But really, it was metaphorical for something else. Is that when you are the face of the franchise and you go to that Tuesday or Wednesday press conference where they've got the logo of your team behind you, and like in Kansas City, it's a bank, or in Philadelphia, it's a bank. It's a huge sponsor. They pay $10 million a year to the team, and they put their logo all over the stadium and the Wednesday press conference. It always drove me nuts when quarterbacks had their hat back on and kind of casually walked up there. And I'm like, no. I wear my hat on backwards when I'm cleaning the garage. I don't do it for a business meeting. How many times did Baker Mayfield snarkily whiff during that press conference? Picking a teammate, call out the medical staff. It's like, Baker, this is not a frat house.
An NFL GM gets hypnotized by a couple throws at a pro day and a lackluster, undersized, overhyped quarterback talent gets drafted in the top 10 picks. Zach Wilson might be one of the... I can't remember the last time. It's been a while where we've seen a quarterback who was drafted that high be this bad. Baker Mayfield, functional. It's got to be like maybe Johnny Manziel, maybe like Paxton Lynch or something, but he wasn't the second pick. This is just, it's bad at this point. The Jets are a good team with a quarterback who cannot complete passes. He's gotten benched for, this is the second no-name man he's been benched for. Chris Streveler. First it was Mike White. Imagine the Jets with Justin Fields. If they hadn't deluded themselves into this random kid from the middle of nowhere because he had some swagger. Swagger works on a defensive player. For a quarterback, he needs to have some swagger and be able to run an offense.
He has a season to save and a locker room to keep.
Yeah.
Like, I think he could have gotten away with starting Zach Wilson again because I think that's what he wants to do. And I think that's what Joe Douglas wants to do as a general manager because you drafted this guy.
Yep.
But as soon as Zach Wilson said, nah, I don't have anything to apologize for.
Off the table.
Robert Saleh had no choice. Like, that was not Robert Saleh making the decision. That was Zach Wilson making the decision for him.
Great
because
point.
players know. They know whether or not you can play, and they know whether or not you have their respect in the locker room.
Yeah.
And as soon as Zach Wilson said that, the players were like, dude, we averaged 2.77 inches per play in the second half. We didn't cross our own 35-yard line.
May bench their quarterback, Zach Wilson, the number 2 overall pick that so many people had hype for I have no idea what reason. I never liked him coming out of college, didn't think he was a first-round prospect, but instead everyone goes, oh yeah, this guy made this great throw, and it's like, wait a minute, Justin Fields made the same throw the next day. Justin Fields actually did a little bit better, and they go, I don't care about Justin Fields, I want to talk about Zach Wilson because he's so great. Yeah, Zach Wilson's not great. He's not a smart football player. He doesn't have the best arm, and I don't think he has a future as an NFL starting quarterback. And Joe Flacco could be reinstated as soon as this week. Make sure to hit the plus for more daily NFL content.
Never seen a guy lose respect of the locker room. Get on the Greyhound bus and depart New York City. Skip, New York isn't for everybody.
I don't love him. I watched him, I don't know, maybe 5 times at BYU. And he had a little bit of Favre in him. He runs around and flings it and sort of closes his eyes and, oh, they caught it. And what a play that was. But as far as consistently operating at quarterback, as far as consistent poise and accuracy and vision.
Other side of the wall, and when you shut the doors, there's a certain chemistry that exists, and we don't see it. We talk about Zach Wilson. What he may have is what Mike White does have. He brings people together, and for whatever reason, they seem to be, like you said, having fun out there playing with this guy. And it'd be hard to pull him out of this lineup right now. Robert Saleh did the right thing, and hopefully right now, seriously for Zach Wilson, I hope you sit back right now and take some notes about what leadership is all about. You know what? On the other side of the wall.
Here's what I think about Zach Wilson being benched and the news that Mike White's going to be starting instead. While this is a tough decision, it's also not, because if you've seen the amount of football games, the past 6 games, Zach Wilson has shown that mechanically he is not there, mentally he is not there, and the Patriots game has especially rattled him in his decision making to where he is terrified to throw the ball. All of those things combined leads to bad quarterback performances like we saw in this latest game against the Patriots. A massive reason is his inaccuracy, and that's because of terrible mechanics. His footwork, it's god-awful. He's not lined up when he's throwing the football. He's not stepping into throws. He's bailing out of the pocket too early. He's missing open guys. He's not anticipating guys open when guys are not wide-ass open. So that's why Zach Wilson's benched, and I agree. I think this is a true reset, and I hope he comes back stronger because I'm one of his biggest supporters.
Wilson, you can talk about weather, you can talk about play calling, you can talk about receivers, you can talk about roster, you can talk about offensive line, you can give him every benefit of the doubt in the books. But the truth of the matter is, Zach Wilson is a complete bust. He's a total failure. He's on that list of Jamarcus Russell and Ryan Leaf as quarterbacks who were drafted high, who not only disappointed, but cost their team such valuable draft capital that it'll set them back for years. The Jets are so close to being a playoff team, they just need a capable quarterback. Zach Wilson got benched multiple times this year, and the fact that the Jets have gone to places where the fans are chanting for Joe Flacco, that tells you all you need to know. The team is running a Tim Tebow-style offense, and the fans are chanting for Joe Flacco. If that doesn't tell you Zach Wilson is a bust.
The truth of the matter is this. Zach Wilson shouldn't have never been drafted by the New York Jets. The New York Jets had Justin Fields right there. They knew what type of body of work that Justin Fields had. He was one of the best collegiate quarterbacks coming out in the draft. And it doesn't surprise me what Justin Fields is doing in Chicago, even though he doesn't have the weapons yet. I'm telling you this about Justin Fields. When Justin Fields gets the weapons in Chicago, Chicago is going to be a problem. Do you hear me? When Justin Fields, because I know everybody's talking about his legs right now. All he's doing is running the football, and only thing he can do is he doesn't really have anything right now. He doesn't have anything at receiver. I know they traded for Claypool, but the chemistry is not there. I know that they had Mooney playing well, the tight end Kmet, and I know they do got some decent running backs in Herbert and Montgomery. But hear me out. When Justin Fields gets the targets and the weapons in Chicago, Chicago is going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem. But keeping the main focus and the main thing, Zach Wilson has not played well. He just has not. He doesn't have the chemistry with the receivers that he should have. He should be way further along than what he is. You know, normally when you draft a quarterback that high, you know, you're expecting a lot of great things from this kid. You know, you're pretty much looking at the franchise quarterback that you have taken. When you draft a quarterback at number 2 overall, eventually this kid is going to be a starter. Eventually this kid is going to get the opportunity to play. And he has gotten the opportunities time and time again, and he just has not delivered. I don't know what's going on with Zach Wilson mentally, but he has just not grasped the game of football in the NFL yet. He has to understand that you're not in college anymore. You're playing a grown man's game where these guys have families. They got families that they have to take care of. They got mortgages. They got their own issues and problems. But at the same time, Zach Wilson really needs to just learn how to keep himself accountable. Understands that he has to get better. I don't know if he'll ever really be that type of quarterback in the NFL. Maybe he'll be like a Josh Rosen. I don't know. The Josh Rosen effect, where you're just traded to all these different teams and you never can find a home. And I'm sure no quarterback wants to be put in that type of position where you are like an NFL journeyman, kind of like McCown was. Like you're going to, I'm sure, you know, everybody wants to play and have that opportunity to play, but you don't want to be an NFL journeyman if you don't have to. Traveling to all these different teams, being on all these different teams, because teams just don't respect your game enough to keep you on the roster. So he has to keep himself accountable. He has to get better. Will they give him another opportunity again? I do not know. But as of this season is coming to an end, and I think it's only 3 games left, I think that you just have to roll with the other quarterback because the chemistry is not there. They have been trying to force it, the issues and the situation out there on the field with him, and it's not working. I think that if they would have drafted Justin Fields, we would not be having this conversation because you getting him a target like Garrett Wilson, giving him a target like Elijah Moore, giving him a solid backfield and Michael Carter and Breece Hall. I think that this team would be definitely further than what it is, man. Now, I'm not saying that Justin Fields would have took the team to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that he was not the choice. He should have never been drafted by the New York Jets. The quarterback should have been Justin Fields. And I just got to keep it 100 with the New York Giants fan. Justin Fields should be you guys' starting quarterback right now. He should have been the second quarterback taken. But because he was not the second quarterback taken, and because the scouts got so happy about what Zach Wilson, the throws he was making at the combine, and they just said, this kid is going to be everything. And he leapfrogs Justin Fields, who was way better than him in college. You go back and look at the film of Justin Fields, he was throwing the football a lot. Go back and watch the Ohio State film on Justin Fields. He ran a little bit, but at the same time, he was in the pocket delivering the football. He was throwing the football. He had weapons to throw to. So I think that that's like one of the biggest hangups is that the New York Jets should have drafted Justin Fields. There is no ifs and buts about it. The quarterback of the New York Jets should be Justin Fields. And now you're dealing with having a quarterback like Zach Wilson, who you thought that was going to be all world and was going to be the man, is turning out not to be the man. Now, don't get me wrong. There's things that Justin Fields has to work on. No quarterback is perfect. There's still things that Justin Fields has to work on. But I think that he'll be a little bit further than what Zach Wilson is doing. You know, we'll never know because the Jets, unless the Jets eventually end up trading for Justin Fields, we'll never ever know the Justin Field experience with the New York Jets. So right now you have to deal with having Zach Wilson as your starting quarterback. And right now your starting quarterback who's sitting on the bench, who's young, and who should be out there on the field contributing to this team and contributing to the success. Because when you look at the Jets, this team should be a playoff team. This team should be in the playoffs this season. There is no reason why the Jets should not be in the playoffs because they have the defense. Right now, they're just lacking at the quarterback position because it's like a carousel of quarterbacks coming in every other week. So you can't really build that camaraderie or that chemistry with the receivers like that because you never know who's going to start. You don't know if it's going to be Mike White. You don't know if it's going to be Joe Flacco. You don't know if it's going to be Chris Strivler. You don't know who's going to be the quarterback for the New York Jets. But I know that they're thinking and pondering like, man, why didn't we take Justin Fields? We had him right there. If we would have grabbed this kid, we would be further along than what we were. And I just totally believe that, man. I totally believe that if the New York Jets would have drafted Justin Fields, that this team would definitely be in the postseason because I think that Justin Fields is going to play with that fire. He's going to play with that passion. And the only thing that I can say about Zach Wilson is that he's just not playing with any heart on the football field. He's not playing with any heart. You got to have heart, man. You got to have heart. It's more so than just having the intangibles to go out there and the skill set to go out there and toss the football around. You got to have the heart to play the game of football. And right now, Zach Wilson does not have the heart to play the type of football that the New York Jets so desperately need him to play. So, all right, you guys, this is Keeping It Raw podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We're going to be talking about more NFL content and also talking about
Brian Little.